Blackhawks lose 3-2 to the New York Islanders in a shootout heartbreaker. The most devastating part of this game is that it went to a shootout. But welcome back to the Blackhawks conversation post-game show. My name is Ryan McGregor. Before we get into it, this show is now available on Apple Podcasts. So go ahead, follow the show over there, listen to it over there if you'd rather do that. You don't have to look at me that way. And you can listen to it on your drive to work or wherever you're going. Um, yeah, this, despite the fact that it was a loss, um, I I thought it was a great game. It was one of the more exciting games in a while. It was certainly the most fun to watch, exciting game since the loss of Bedard and Nazar. Um, Even just since the loss of Bedard because he went out first. But yeah, this was easily the most exciting game in that time period, and um, I thought the Hawks deserved to win. I don't know what the deserve to win meter is. It's if they didn't deserve to win, it's got to be close to 50%. But yeah, I thought at points tonight they looked like the better team. They were really good, and we'll kind of break this one down like we do period by period here, and then I'll give my overall thoughts. But yeah, right away going into this game, looking at the lines that they were running in warm up, that Teravainen, Moore, and Lardis line stuck out. I think it stuck out to a lot of people. Everyone kind of had a feeling, okay, these guys might play pretty well together, and boy, was that an understatement. They had an incredible game. All three of them, specifically Moore and Lardis, had really good nights. So we get into this one, puck drop right off the bat. Alex Vlasic has a horrible giveaway in front of the net to Bo Horvat, and Spencer Knight has to come up huge, 10, 15 seconds into the game. It was, first play of the game. Um, uh, you know, then Kaiser gets caught less than a minute in. The Islanders have a 2-on-1. Knight again coming up big. And then less than 3 minutes in at 17:04, Ritchie gets a goal and makes it 1-0. And I'm thinking to myself, oh great, here we go again. It's just another one of these games. And Kaiser can't get the puck out. It creates an in tight 2-on-1. A pass, the shot, which Knight had a chance on that shot, but it went off of Artem Levshunov's stick and redirected. And I think that's what ultimately made that shot go in was the deflection. Otherwise, I think Knight was pretty square to the shot, and I think he would have had it. And the Hawks just continued to be sloppy in their own end in that first period. Lots of turnovers. They couldn't break the puck out. They did a better job covering the front of the net. I had a little rant about that last post game, but they definitely did a better job covering the front of the net this time. Um, Lardis has a beautiful pass to Teravainen for a chance. It doesn't go. Then Burakovsky gets called for holding, and Bo Horvat gets a power play goal at 7:52, makes it 2-0. It was a point blank one timer from the top of the slot. That's one that you kind of you might want Knight to save. Murphy was given some tight pressure to the guy in the corner. I forget who had it. Maybe Barzal. I forget. But yeah, Horvat's open in the top of the slot, and he gets a quick one-timer off and beats Knight clean. So that's one you'd like to see a save on. It's not one I'm going to sit here and criticize Knight, too badly for, but you'd like a save there. Um, game goes on. Hawks didn't have a great first period. Moore had a really nice pass to Levshunov in the slot. And then Levshunov made a great move cutting to the net and ringed it off the crossbar and gave one of the classic throw his hands up in the air and slam his stick down reactions, which if you didn't see that, I think Blackhawks Focus on Twitter, go follow Blackhawks Focus on Twitter. Great follow. I think he posted a clip of it. So it's out there to go take a look at, but that was hilarious. Classic Levshunov. Guy was all over tonight. I don't know how he didn't score. But yeah, that more in that first period, that more Teravainen and Lardis line was the only entertaining line in this game. I mean, they looked fantastic as we expected them to look together, but they exceeded expectations tonight. They looked great. Um, Knight makes a post to post save on Ritchie. And then Doc hits the post, and that's it for the period. Like I said, in the first period, they were sloppy in their own end, although they did have two post crossbars, one post, one crossbar. They did a pretty good job generating offense in that first period. Again, more Lardis Teravainen really carried ship. I thought the fourth line actually had a few good looks and a few good shifts in the offensive zone. That Foligno, Doc, and Slaggert line. Um, they got outshot 10-7 in the first, and an interesting stat here for the end of the first. Lardis and Moore, when on the ice together 5-on-5, outscored or outshot the outchanced the Islanders 5-0, which was telling for how they played and telling for the rest of the game here. We go into the second. Um, one thing I want to point out happened kind of early in the second period here. Um, there's a play in front of the Hawks net. Knight covers the puck. Uh, is it Heineman? One of the Islanders players, I want to say Heineman, takes a whack at Spencer Knight's glove after he covers it, and Nick Foligno jumps him. Nick Foligno gives him a shot to the back of the head. The guy's helmet falls off, and Nick Foligno doesn't give a shit. He keeps giving him shots to the back of the head. And then, obviously chaos ensues. Nick Foligno did get the only penalty out of it, but I didn't care. I loved the penalty. Um, Nick Foligno was such a uh, devastating loss to this team when he was out for, just over a month or however long it was. Um, he is a very valuable player to this team. Not only is he the captain, he provides leadership and guidance to the young players, but he plays a certain way, and that is it right there. He stands up for his teammates. He plays like a true captain should play, and he also is just a smart hockey player who's valuable. Uses his body. He's good in the defensive zone, and he'll surprise you with some offense every once in a while. But more so, it's that play right there summed up why Nick Foligno is so important to this team, why it's so good to have him back, and why they hurt a lot when he was gone. So I really liked that, and I would like to see more guys do that. There's so many times where Spencer Knight or Soderblom, if he's in the net, will get hacked after the whistle or get crowded, or guys are right in the grill, right in the crease. And nobody does anything. And you got the size of Vlasic and Crevier, and Murphy's a tough customer. Levshunov's a big boy, and nobody does anything. So, you want to see that spread throughout the team a bit, and I really liked that Nick Foligno did that. And the Hawks had a good second period. I don't know if that set the tone for them or what, but the Hawks had a good second period. They killed the penalty. You can tell Nick Lardis is getting more confident. He's trying more things. Then you didn't have a shift where Artem Levshunov is just dancing around the offensive zone, weaving through multiple New York Islanders players, and he centers a pass. Ultimately gets deflected out of play, but Artem Levshunov was on one tonight. We'll get into that after. And then in the final few minutes of the second period here, Teuvo Teravainen has a goal. Uh, it's off a face-off. Levshunov gets the puck. Instead of just playing it, he sees open space between two Islanders. He skates it through them. He finds Moore, who kind of sells shot a little bit, and he finds Teravainen, who one times it into the back of the net. And just like that, it's a one-goal game, and the Hawks got a lot of momentum. And then Bo Horvat takes a double minor. So now the Hawks are on the power play for 4 minutes, and they kind of struggled to get it going at first. Um, but then with 1.8 seconds left in the first period, Nick Lardis, who was just on fire tonight, um, ties the game for the Hawks. And Moore and Green got the assist. And you have, the Hawks bringing the puck in, and huge credit to Nick Lardis here. The Hawks bring the puck in, they chip it in. Nick Lardis is hard on the forecheck. He wins the battle. He gets possession, and then with pressure on him, instead of just passing it away, he holds onto it, creates space for himself, gives it to Oliver Moore. Oliver Moore, mid play, while stick handling and curling at the top of the circle, looks up at the scoreboard, sees there's 5 seconds left, passes it across the zone to Nick Lardis, who bangs home a one-timer similar to the Teravainen goal, and just on both knees celebration. It was fun to watch, but so much credit to those young guys there in Nick Lardis for the forecheck, retrieving the puck, creating space for himself, finding an open man, then getting into his spot and finding even more open space. And then credit to Oliver Moore for not panicking. The bench is yelling at him. He knows he's only got a few seconds left. He looks up at the score clock, which is crazy to me, mid play with the puck. And instead of just shooting, like I think most guys would just throw it on net, he finds Lardis on the other side, and it's just beautiful. And we're tied going into the third period. And the Hawks had a really good second period. And at this point in the game, Moore and Lardis are, when they're on the ice together, out shooting the Islanders 7-0. So that's pretty telling. Um, um, then you start the third. They announced Jason Dickinson isn't coming back. So you're down Jason Dickinson. You're really only veteran center in this game because you got um Moore, Green, and Doc as your other centers. So really your only veteran center, and he's out now. Uh, so we start the third down a center. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this has the chance to not be a good third period. And it was. I think the Hawks were the better team in the third period. First period, they were not. Second period, they had their moments. So did the Islanders. Third period, I think the Hawks looked like the better team. Um, there was a missed trip on Bertuzzi, partway through the third, and it was really frustrating because there would have been a 2-on-1. I forget who was with him, but Bertuzzi would have skated up, and it would have been a 2-on-1. He got tripped right in front of the bench, the Hawks bench, and right in front of the ref, or I guess was the linesman, but no call, which is frustrating. The Hawks keep playing like the better team. Um, Knight makes a beautiful save. Doc levels Heineman. Chaos ensues. And at one point in that scrum, Doc had full mount on. I guess it was Heineman. I don't know in the chaos, but that was funny. Trevier's, Trevier has two guys. Schaefer went after Teravainen, which was funny, and then nothing kind of came of that. Um, Barzell kind of got rocked a bit, which was cool. Hey, he didn't slash anybody this time. That's a win. Uh, so yeah, we get 4-on-4 out of it. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, Lardis and Moore are by far the Hawks' best players tonight, and it's not even close. Um, and that stayed true the rest of the game. Levshunov had a crossbar, and then the Hawks have two grade A chances in the final 10 seconds. We go to overtime. Levshunov gets called for a trip, and don't get me wrong, that was a trip, but it was extremely frustrating when there was two blatant missed trips late in the third period. I mentioned the Bertuzzi one, and there was another one that I didn't write down in my notes here. There was another blatant trip. Was it on Foligno? I want to say it was on Foligno near the end of the third. So that was really frustrating to give the Islanders a power play in overtime after missing two blatant ones at the end of the third. Granted, it was a blatant trip. And the ref was right there. I mean, the ref, his hands were kind of tied. Like, there's no way he can't call that, but it's still frustrating. And then in the shootout, Bo Horvat's the only one that scores, and that's the winner. That's all she wrote. But the story of the night isn't the loss. The story of the night also isn't that the Hawks played well. The story of the night's the young guys, specifically more Lardis and Levshunov. I'll give a quick shout out to Spencer Knight too. He had a 905 save percentage tonight. He made some big saves. I thought he looked really good. Like I said, I only sort of fault him on the one goal, and it's not even anything crazy. It's just, oh, you knowing what he is, it's like, oh, you'd like a save there, but he's not gonna make them all. So it's whatever. I thought he had a good night, but Oliver Moore, the guy had two assists. He was a +1. He had 15-21 time on ice, and he was by far the most noticeable, impactful Hawk on the ice. And forgive me, I'm just checking in on his face-off percentage because I'm pretty sure it was really good. Yeah, he won 8 and lost 3, 72.7% in the dot. Maybe leave that guy up the middle. Maybe leave that guy as a center because that was a hell of a performance by Oliver Moore. His speed obviously is always noticeable. He's got to be one of the hardest working players night in and night out for the Hawks. He is not the biggest guy, but he uses his size or the size that he has, and he is a tough guy to play against. He uses his body, forechecks hard, battles for pucks hard, and he had, I'm going to say, the best game he's had in the NHL so far in his career. I don't think that's unfair to say. I don't think many people are going to disagree with me on that. And then you got his line mate, Nick Lardis, scored a beauty goal to tie the game. He's a +1. He had 5 shots on goal. I can imagine I'm gonna guess he had between 8 and 10 shot attempts. I don't have that information on me, but he was trying to shoot the puck all night, and he was also a bit of a playmaker too. He was kind of doing it all, and he had 15-12 time on ice, 2 hits and a block. So Nick Lardis was all over tonight. This was also his best game, I would say, in the NHL. Um, but yeah, you can tell he's getting confident. I think the coaches are getting more trust in him, which is making him more confident. The crowd appreciates him, which is probably making him more confident. He's playing well, which obviously is going to help making him more confident. But he's trying things. He's getting creative and he's trying things. You can tell he's getting more confident, and he's a top 6 player, man. Like he's already a top 6 player. You can't play him in the bottom 6. He's got to stay, and that's going to make things real interesting when the team's healthy again. So that's going to be really fun. And Artem Levshunov, this was his best game in a long time. Not going to say it was his best game, best, NHL game, but this was his best game in a long time. He looked real good tonight. Um, Matthew Schaefer's in the building, the most exciting young defenseman in the NHL. Artem Levshunov is like, come on, there's another exciting young defenseman in the league here. And he played great. He had 1 assist, could have had a few goals tonight. He himself had 2 posts or a crossbar and a post. Um, he had 22:43 time on ice. And one big criticism from me with him is, and it's not even criticism of him, it's more so on the coaching staff, is the guy gets too much ice time. They're giving him too much, but he played a solid almost 23 minutes tonight. Like I said, he had a goal, he had 2 hits and a block. He was outstanding. He was the best Hawk on the blue line. Moore and Lardis were the best Hawks up front. Overall, a great game. The way I'm talking about this, you would think the Hawks won this game. Uh, you know, they get a pity point out of it, but it was a great game. I keep wanting to say a great win because it feels like they won because of it was a fun game and they played well. But yeah, it was a good game. Um, Nothing really else to report. So that's all from me. If you're watching on YouTube, like I said, go on over to Apple Podcasts. If you're already watching on Apple Podcasts, thank you. I appreciate it. Leave a review. I'm not going to ask for 5 stars. Give it whatever you feel it deserves. If it's shit, give it 1 star. That's fine too. Um, yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments below, and I will see you in the next post game.